Hi, this is Steve here in my home in Bellevue, Nebraska. Today, I want to talk to you who administer Facebook groups. And here I'm going to talk about a topic that many of you may be aware of, or many of you may not be aware of. I also want to talk to you those who are on a Facebook group and are a member of a Facebook group. And specifically, what I'm going to talk to you today is how administrators of these groups, the tools they have available to them to manage their groups, particularly regarding postings of the members of the groups on those Facebook sites. And so I'm going to share my screen here and go into my account and show you some features and benefits that I think you probably might want to be aware of, or if you already are, you might want to be reminded of again. So here you're seeing happens to be my particular personal Facebook group. When you go into your page to look at it, I'm going to have to make it a little bit smaller here for a minute so we can go on here and see. So up here in the top right where you see the picture, your photo that appears for your account, if you click on there and you go down here, where it says help and support, you click on there, then go to the help center. This is information that Facebook makes available to you as both a user and as an administrator for when you're doing your Facebook groups. And specifically, if we come down here, and I'd encourage you, if you're watching this, you're going to see it better if you watch it on a PC, a personal computer. But if you're doing it on your mobile device, just have it on full screen and have your device held horizontally, and you'll be able to see everything much better. So here you see a box that says groups. So if you click on that, we've got down here, manage a group as an administrator or moderator. Now, even if you don't have a group but are belong to a group, I encourage you to go in here and read the information in here so you can understand sometimes when things happen on to your posts on your Facebook group you belong to and you wondered what happened and why. This will help you understand it. And you as administrator will help you to understand how they're used. So down here, we've got a section on managing people and a section on managing content. And then a section on enforce and moderate, group quality, administrator and moderator team, and pause or delete. So there's questions that are addressed there under each of those sections here. So what I want to do is I'm going to go out of here and go into my page and show you what it looks like from an administrator's standpoint. So we'll go over here, and here I'm going to go up here and click on this. Will show the groups that I have. These are the groups that I manage and the groups that I've joined. So I'm going to go specifically into the groups that I manage because I'm administrator of those groups. Now, the examples that I show to you will be of people that actually have current postings on these groups. But I'm just showing these as illustrations of how to do things. I'm not implying at all that any of these postings are anything's wrong with them. I'm just selecting out them to show you some of the features that you can use on the group. So I'm going to go into this one here. And there's a little bit of difference between private groups and public groups. So I'm going to go into a private group first. This one here happens to be a private group. And this one here, so if we go down here, here's a number of different postings in here. I'll go into one of my own posts rather than somebody else's post to illustrate things. But here, for example, this one here, this is a posting that I made, but I'm also the administrator of the group. If you click on these three little dots here as an administrator, there's these options that come up for my own posts. Well, I can and you can do this even on your own post. All of you can do this on your own post. If you look at your own posts and you look in here, you can edit your post, you can delete it, you can turn off notifications, which means that when people comment on your posts, you want to be notified or not. Translations is translation to a foreign language. Turn off commenting. If you don't want people to do any commenting on your post, you can turn off commenting. And slow down comments. If people are doing comments too much and too often, you could slow down how often people are allowed to put comments on your post, and then give feedback, suggest changes to this post. This is if me as an administrator, I can give suggestions to people on how to change their post. And so now I'm going to go back here. Now I'll for the next person, I will need to select somebody else's on here. Let me see here. I'm going to just at random, I will pick this one here. There's nothing wrong with this post. I'm just going to tell you absolutely nothing wrong with it. But as an administrator, when I come up here and pull on here, I see here I've got a number of actions I can do as an administrator. So for example, I'm going to start at the top one. Turn on notifications for this post. That means I would get notified when people put comments on this particular post, and if I want to follow it and I'm concerned about it. Remove the post. If I click on there, I can completely remove that post and it's gone. And the person who created the post, they won't get any feedback unless I specifically give them some feedback. So in here, you can see here, I can actually write a specific note to Mark. Now, when I use this as if I have a concern, I would just like Mark to make a few changes to the post, but otherwise the post is just fine. Then you as an administrator can put a note in here, send it to Mark, and then just confirm. And what will happen here is his post will get removed, and then he will can redo it and put it back on again. If he's violated some rules, then I would click there, the rules he violated. He hadn't violated any rules, but I just wanted to give him some feedback and have him rewrite it, then I could use this method here. Now, some other options here that are available on here. This one here, remove a post and ban the author. I'll tell you, I have never done this with anyone on any of my groups. And I've seen other people that have done that to people on their groups. Some either at a first offense. And so if you ban an author, that means they are kicked out of the group and they're blocked. They can't even see the group existing anymore. And I've never done that with anyone. I'm not going to tell you when you should do that or shouldn't do it, not do it, but I believe in educating people rather than just getting mad at them and kicking them out. Okay? Turn on post approval for Mark. If I were to turn on post approval for him, then he would have to, every time he puts a post on here, I would have to approve it personally before it would be allowed to post it on the site. I've only done that on one individual ever on any of my sites, but I'll just tell you, as an end user, you will never know this happens. You won't know that post approval has been turned off. You'll just find out when you post approval, you'll get a message saying it's being reviewed, and that's when you'll find out that your post approval has been turned on for you. Turn off commenting. If I turn off commenting, that means nobody can comment on his post anymore. Again, I can slow down the comments on it if they're coming too fast. Now, suspend a member. If I suspend a member, I can pick the amount of time that they're suspended for. Now, what happens when somebody is suspended? If somebody is suspended, they can still go into the group. They can view everything that's on the group. They can look at any of the postings, any of the comments. They can look at anything that's on there, but they're just not able to post, comment, or take other actions in the chosen time frame. And I have done this on occasion. Normally, when I suspend somebody, this is me personally, the first time I suspend them for 3 days. And normally the items I'm suspending people for are, for example, if it's a site where it's a specific brand that like Shopsmith, or it could be Ryobi or Milwaukee, and that site is dedicated just to those brand of tools, and people are posting other brands on there, which is against the rules, then that might be a time where I would suspend someone. But after the period of time is up, and what happens is they get notified that they're suspended and why, and then after the period of time is up, then they can go back and have all the regular privileges again. So that's what happens when a member gets suspended. Then here on so I think that's pretty much it for the on the private groups, the actions that can be done. So as I said, I've never kicked anybody out of any of my groups. I've never felt the need to do that. I've always felt it's important to educate. So for example, let me go back over here. So as I said, this is a private group. Okay, so I want to go into the members section here. Items that administrator can do to an individual that has nothing to do with their posting. In this section, on an individual basis, now I want to explain the difference between removing a member and banning a person from the group. Now, you as administrators, many of you don't understand this, and I want you to understand it. If you remove a member from their group, that just means they're no longer in their group. They've got no marks against them. They can reapply anytime to rejoin the group. If you ban someone from the group, they are kicked out of the group and the group is blocked, so they can't even look at the group to even try to rejoin the group again. Okay, so again, I have never banned anybody from any of my groups, and to this date, I've never removed anybody from a group. I try to educate people. I'd rather people voluntarily leave a group rather than having to be forcibly removed from a group. And that comes in the area of education. So I want to go over. This is a private group, and I want to go over to a public group, so you can see on that difference. This is a public group. Public groups, anybody can see what's in a public group. Private group, only members can see what's in the group. But in case in this public one, I have the same options available for individual postings that I can do as a administrator. And but in a public group, I'm looking here. Yeah, I have the same options there on the postings, but let's go to the membership itself for the individuals. So in a public group, I as an administrator do not have the option to remove somebody. I only have the option to ban them from the group. That's because in a public group, they're open so that anyone can view what is on the group. There's no approval that is required to join a public group. That's why the remove option is not available. Only banning a person is available as an option on a public group. And again, I've never had the need personally to ban anybody from a group. So hopefully this has been beneficial to you either as an administrator or as a member of a Facebook group. But one other thing I want to mention here, and I mentioned earlier, that was on education. I believe it's the responsibilities of administrators to educate the members of their group on what they expect for that group. And you'll find that in two different places. First of all, I'm going to look here in the About section here of every group. You're going to see down here, it's going to tell you the group rules. And that tells you the behavior that's expected for the members of that group. And this particular group says it wants shops with related items only. And also links to product must be to a site where the product may be purchased. So group rules should be clearly stated by the administrator in the rules section. Along with that, a lot of people, even though they see those rules, they don't fully understand a lot of things about Facebook, particularly if they're new to Facebook or Facebook groups. And a lot of the supposed infractions come from people that are new and just don't understand and aren't educated. So in this section here called media, videos, on my sites, I put education. For example, I have 2 videos on this site. This happens to be a sales group. So I have one video here, right here.
Hi, Steve here in Bellevue, Nebraska. Here I'm going to show you how to list an item for sale.
Okay, so that one I teach people how to list an item for sale in this group. The other one here is where I show people how to find things that are looking to buy on this particular site.
Hi, this is Steve here in Bellevue, Nebraska. Here I'm talking to you today about finding shops with items to buy on.
Okay, so those are examples of videos that I include. So my advice to you as administrators is put some videos on your groups teaching people about different principles. If you've had problems with people doing certain things and it's been an ongoing problem, put a video on there talking about it so the members can go and look at those. So I think that's it for this particular video, and I hope it's been helpful to both you as administrators and those of you who are members of Facebook groups, either private or public.